Oh boy, I just finished laughing and loving in my latest interview for It's Open with Ilana Glazer with the one and only, my beloved Abbi Jacobson. Check us out. It's a grand old time. So my guest today is one of my best friends and dearest collaborators, Abbi Lee Jacobson. Hi.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Could we reflect on our beautiful baby, Broad City, and reflect on us? First of all, I want to say, Broad City was so much work. It was so much work.
Yes.
Which anything that is really good is. Any art worth making is hard to make in at least some aspects. And the removal of all that work has left this space for this warm, ooey gooey friendship of ours that I've just been lapping up.
It's kind of going back to when we first met, where we didn't have that work.
Right.
So we're bookending it. Because when we first met, I wouldn't say that our improv team was a ton of work. But we were just hanging out and being friends, and now we kind of just get to do that again, where we're just shooting the shit, and it's not deadline upon us, and decisions and incredible things happening. But we just get to hang out and talk about life.
But you know what I'm remembering from our early days? I almost I wonder if this resonates with you. I almost felt the work ahead. I almost felt the creative birth ahead. The momentum that we felt in our hearts, and we were who are you? You know, that magic of that momentum in those early days. Now it feels like we have children that we sent off to college, or they've graduated college and they're able to both work and enjoy their lives. That's how it feels to see Broad City out in the world.
I think that time, I can romanticize that time. I was in my 20s. You were not.
I was 19 when we met.
I know.
You were 22.
And we didn't sell the show until I was 27. But I can romanticize that time so much as you talk about the build. It was there. We were yearning to have that work.
Yep.
You know, we wanted to be
focusing
all of that energy into please let us use this energy.
Use us. Make use of us.
And so I think I look back on that time with such, I can feel very romantic about that time, because it was the before of we know we can do this. Couldn't someone let us and I think even before we found the web series, I know I recognize that in you of there's this build and how can we do it? We're here, we're in the city, and
an agitation.
Yes.
Almost.
Yes.
Really itching.
Yes.
And I'm thinking about how they wouldn't make use of us at the Upright Citizens Brigade.
Yeah.
We tried to get on a house team, which means you're part of almost a theater company, part of the UCB theater company. So that's how we made Broad City, because we would audition and we wouldn't get on a team. So we made our own thing. But before that, you also weren't exactly taken seriously for your dramatic efforts either. You came you came to New York after graduating art school, and you went to the Atlantic.
Yeah. I went for a week. And I don't know if it was them not taking me seriously more than me quitting before they could.
Right.
I just was this is not the right place for me. At Micah, I majored in general fine art and minored in video. It was mostly me just doing character stuff. And I realized I really wanted to be an actor. And I really wanted to be a dramatic actor, even though everything about my whole upbringing, everything was just clearly comedic. But I was no, I want this. And so I auditioned to go to the Atlantic Conservatory, which is a 4-year program.
David Mamet,
Beret, and William H. Macy.
Beret all day.
Great duo.
Yeah.
And I was this is the place for me. And I moved here.
Did you go to the Atlantic Theater Company because of David Mamet's Beret?
It was probably 60% beret.
Is that what drew
You know what that makes me think of? Beret pre-Agafen.
Beret pre-Agafen. Did you purchase a beret?
You had to buy one as soon as you walked in the door. They were you had to kind of
part of the course curriculum.
Yeah. I took this class, one of the only art courses in college where we read a lot of Mamet plays. And so I was like really, I think it was like that teacher, I was like smitten with this like older teacher who was like exposing.
Sexually?
I mean, no. He was like so much older.
Yes, sexually.
I don't think so. Like, truly, I'm not like was not sexually attracted to him, but there was something about his creative vibe, and he was exposing me to plays, and I was like, oh, Mamet. And I read his book, and there was one thing that I feel like I said to you that like I'm truly, do not get me wrong, I'm not like a Mamet gal. But at the time, it was like, if you have a plan B, you will do the plan B.
Right.
I feel like that was in there with us of like, there can't be a plan B. Like every plan B will not be our course.
Right.
So I will take that little Mamet-ism. But anyway, I got there and I was just like, fuck this. Like, this is bad. This is not the vibe or like how my mind thinks at Atlantic. It was like very heady, very like approaching the text in a... You were like analyzing every sentence, like what are they really saying? They're saying this, but and yeah, a lot of actors like operate that way.
And improv is like don't
literally
think.
Don't think.
Right.
And my roommate at the time, which is like loosely Melody, was like, "What about there's this place UCB that you would love?" I'd never even like I did not know about it, and I went and I was like obsessed.
I really do feel so proud of what we created with Broad City. It feels like our little babies are out there like thriving and living their own lives. And these younger people who, a lot of people like moved to New York City after seeing Broad City and felt like they could make it. If these two knuckleheads could make it, so could I. It's like the feedback I keep getting from like 30-year-olds and people in their 20s. And it feels like mothering in a more literal sense. Like we raised these babies culturally and also let them know like you can do this. Cause guess what? Fucking up is a huge part of it.
It's a storyline in every episode. No, I think we did that like unintentionally. I don't think we were like, we need a show that you can do it. I think we were like also simultaneously trying to do it ourselves a couple years ahead of them.
Of the characters.
Yeah.
Right.
But looking back and drawing from like more specific fuck-uppery. Yeah. And we were like, we've figured that out. Right. We're not like getting caught between buildings and things. But
oh my God.
No, I think it's so cool that people moved here. I mean, I'm just trying to think like why I moved to like why I wanted to be in New York so much. It was definitely a lot of film and TV that I have seen, but not like I wasn't like I'm moving and I'm gonna be like Carrie Bradshaw. Like I was like that's not me. I do think we maybe opened up a little bit,
right? Like what it could mean
that
to look like.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of types, you were just remembering this.
Oh my
this
goodness.
thing that we heard early on in our careers.
Yeah.
I totally forgot this. It definitely was traumatizing, so I blacked it out and wiped it from my brain. But I'm actually in a place where I'm secure enough to be thrilled to hear this.
I think it's just that also is like the difference between us. We hear a thing and you block it out, and then for me, I keep it right at the top.
Just like you used to kind of look at our trolling comments, and I can't even. Same thing on social media now.
So it's one of the reasons why I just like don't want to be on social media.
If this helps, we're tipping into the dead internet era in which more than half of the like comments and trolls and texts are coming from bots, not human beings.
Cool. Is that cooler?
Does that help?
Yeah, so they're like not real.
Not real.
Not real. Cool.
Just sort of bot farms, just burning
maybe
up.
Maybe I will stay.
All the burning up all the water on planet Earth.
All that makes me feel so much better.
To troll us, if that helps.
Yeah. So we had a manager, Sam Safer, who we both shared. Sam came back after she got some feedback. That was like, well, they either need to lose 15 pounds or gain 15 pounds if they're going to like make it in this biz, which is like so weird.
Let's unpack that for a second.
Yeah, let's unpack.
So if we lost 15 pounds, we might have a shot at playing 1 out of 20 of the roles for hot girls, maybe, if we developed successful eating disorders.
Or like the show would be like watchable.
Right,
If we had lost weight.
And then if we gained 15 pounds, I mean, honestly, would have made it even more revolutionary.
Yes. I guess I know that person that she got this feedback was from a man, without a doubt. But like, what an interesting just puzzle. Like,
we were too normal looking, which ended up being, I think, our superpower, that people could totally relate to us.
Yes.
I remember actually we started getting into nut mixes.
Ilana, the the variety of snacks that we had gotten into, because you talk about the nut
giant
mixes.
Tubs of nut mixes,
like gorp, like mixes, like we would make them ourselves.
Gorp.
Well, I think
you're
gorp
weird
as for good old raisins and peanuts.
Oh my god,
But
is
it
that
can be
90s?
more expansive than that.
Gorp.
Yeah,
and that's like for like people who go to REI and hike who don't have time because they're like belaying so quickly. They're like gorp because they don't have time to say the full good old raisins and peanuts. I'm dying.
Do you remember when we went to LA? We went to LA and I was staying at a friend's. I was renting like an extra room at a friend's, and Ilana found an apartment that you rented like with the car. That was in like kind of a not safe area, like downtown Hollywood, which is like a little bit of like a interesting spot. And you were driving her maroon PT Cruiser. Because when we first went, renting a car was so expensive because you were under 25.
I was 24 years old. I had from waitressing and babysitting, I had saved $12,000 in my savings. Renting a car to stay in LA for 2 months to pitch this show was going to cost 2/3 of that savings, $8,000. And I had to call my dad, and I was like, "Tell me it's a good idea." He's like, "I don't know." I was like, "Tell me it's a good idea so I can do it." So
it cost that much because of the car, because but it didn't cost me that much.
No, I know, because I was 24.
That's it. It's like double it's crazy to,
because they're like, you little idiot, you're gonna crash the car immediately. Which like maybe I remember like driving in LA being like, ah! Like so scary. But this was a different time in which I think I was like essentially like living this woman's life for her because I was renting her disgusting apartment as well as her disgusting PT Cruiser, which she didn't think to clear of her energy drinks.
She didn't clean it at all, and I just remember like. You were like, "Come on over," and then we're like, "Get on in," and we like went somewhere, and I was like, "This is nuts." You've like become her. But then I remember in the kitchen, you were like, "Well, help yourself," and you had gone to Trader Joe's, but you only did it because we did it at home here, and you had bought like bulk, like the tricolor raisin packs,
I
and
remember
you were
those
making
golden
your
raisins.
own like. Mixes
because we were trying to cut bread.
Yeah, we were
trying to cut bread, and I remember a time that I said to you, Abby, I was like,
"Oh, cut bread, yeah, good by doing it with like just raisins, no bread, only raisins."
You know what the health experts say: swap bread and raisins. Yeah. I remember one time when I was like, we were like getting into paleo eating, and I would totally own up to it being disordered eating. Yeah. I don't think it was. I think we were genuinely... Was it?
Well, I'm about to lead us into... I just was with my dad, and we, for some reason, got on the topic of... It hurts my mouth even to say it. Turkey jerky.
I know I shouldn't
have.
That
was like we were like manic. I think it was like our Coke.
Manic. I was chain smoking in the stairwell, chomping on
and like I
turkey jerky.
Ate that as like our meals
because we were like, what would the cavemen have eaten? Like, you know, like paleo and like The Secret and Manifesting. It was like all like before it was Tech Bros. culture before they ruined and destroyed the planet and turned to fascism. Tech bros were like, believe in anything. So we were like kind of on that tip, and we were like, if we're going to be on TV, we can like work out and cut bread and eat like the cavemen did. So one thing I remember is like, so we would make these big nut mixes. Chomp on nuts.
And I was like, I can't hear you. It's so loud.
And I remember once I was like, we have to be careful. Like, we don't want to get too skinny. And you were like, Ilana, we won't.
Yeah.
We won't. If Broad City were made today, it wouldn't be.
I don't know. There's a bunch of shows that feel sort of in the same wheelhouse.
But only because Broad City had been made.
Yeah.
Not to be a bitch, but I'm just like, Broad City couldn't be made today unless Broad City had been made.
Well, if you say it like that.
I feel that if Broad City were made today, it couldn't be because we're under an authoritarian siege.
Oh, yeah. I was even thinking that with the whole Kimmel thing, like, I was like, well, we were just like so vocal. Like, I love that we fucking bleeped his name.
Yeah, it was good.
That Witches episode, the Instagram episode where we're in front of Trump Tower.
Wow.
All of that. I'm like, I think that would have been, who knows?
How's your authoritarian siege going?
It's just like every day feels more terrifying. And I again, like I know that there have always been moments in history that I think people have felt this way, but I think just matched with like the way we receive information, I'm just, there's just like an underlying anxiety of like doom.
Well, it's all by design too. The way that we receive information has gotten us here because very few individuals own algorithms that control our time and attention and minds. And we're supposed to feel more divided than we are. But I do have to say, like, you know, the No Kings March happened. Millions and millions of people showed up.
Like, I am reminded when I go to things like that, just like, you're like, right. You like, because I have friends who are like, this is not going to do anything. This, like, going to this, what do you think is going to do? And I'm like, yeah, I'm not saying that this is like changing policy, but like, it is also a reminder of being with people and masses, thousands of people who are like expressing like anger and hope at the same time is like pretty essential.
And it's like most people want most people to have healthcare and housing. Like the suffering, I don't know who these fucking weirdos are who get hard on other people's suffering, but they're supposed to be the minority and they're supposed to be getting like mental health help. But most people are fucking normal and want a healthy democracy, I think.
I think so too. And I just don't like the propaganda around that day. The narrative is like so insane because if you were to go, it's the opposite of that.
It was a Love America demonstration.
It was. It's just, it's a really like beautiful thing in the middle of a really terrible thing.
What are you doing these days to feel good?
I love me some park.
Me too.
Action.
What do you love about it?
I like walking a lot. And I like it. It clears my head. I love going on walks with other people. I have a dog. Taking my dog, which I did this morning, to the off-leash section of the park is maybe the most joyful place on earth.
Oh my God.
And there's like hundreds of dogs. And
hundreds?
I've never been that happy or joyous about anything in my life.
New York is so major. Hundreds of dogs.
Yeah. You got to just go one day. But
I'd love to see it. It's like a dog rave. Do you go to dinner with Jody?
Yeah. I love dinner.
Love dinner.
I've been cooking this seared tofu.
Oof.
With rice, roasted veg.
Hey.
It's kind of sort of, we usually make like a bowl.
Yum, like a rice bowl.
Yeah. Joe makes this thing on the side that is like Swiss chard with some leeks.
Oh, yeah. How does she prepare the leeks?
Just cut it.
Yeah.
Put the leeks in first, saute them for a while till they're soft. Put the chard in, a little turmeric, and a little coconut milk.
Shit.
It's very like nourishing food.
Yeah.
And we make that a lot. Jody makes that a lot.
I'm like intimidated by leeks and bok choy and Swiss chard.
Do not
I
be.
don't know. I'm like, it's delicate. I'm going to fuck it up. I don't know
No.
what it is.
I like just discovered sesame oil, which again, I'm a late bloomer.
Late bloomer, babe. So let's talk about Prelude.
Oh, yes. I'd love to talk about Prelude.
So Prelude is a creative fellowship you've created to support emerging voices.
Yeah. I created it with my friend Mika Tennant, and I had known Mika for a while. She's one of Jody's best friends and had done a lot of like community work. And I had a feeling, I was like, she's the person I want to do this with. And I had gone to this weekend excursion where you're in like a miniature TED Talk and you're being exposed to, it's like 100 people, like really influential and like successful people from music and entertainment and politics, and all these people are like staying at this place for the weekend, and they're getting exposed to like the most innovative minds in the world. And I remember feeling very mixed about like the situation, but also I would leave and feel really like the ideas that were being spoken about on stage were like very filling and expansive in certain ways. And I was like, why does that always happen when you are successful? Why can't that sort of retreat happen when you're starting and you can be exposed to all that stuff? So I came to Mika with that, and she had just done this documentary called Daughters, which
my gosh.
Incredible documentary.
Yes.
So she does a lot of social and impact work, and so she was that role on Daughters. And they were at Sundance. Daughters is on Netflix. It's an incredible documentary. You have to watch it. It's about, I think it's 8 incarcerated men, and they all have daughters. And they came up with this program to host a dance at the jail and track them for like 10 years or something. Wow. And it's like a beautiful doc. And Mika's at Sundance, and one of the daughters is there. They're like doing press, and it's like incredible. And she's telling Mika, she's probably 17, she wants to be a cinematographer. She doesn't know how she do that. And Mika was like, I'm looking at her like there is just no door. And then truly Mika was like 10 minutes later, one of our EPs who came on later, very, very famous couple, and their daughter's there. She's about the same age as one of the daughters. And she's talking about how she wants to be a director. And Mika was like, this girl has every door open, and this girl has absolutely zero. And so what if we can create a program where it's called Prelude for a reason, where it's like you can't have any experience. Like our applications are open right now. We're reading applicants, and like so many people have like a little too much experience.
Wow.
And it's also exposing like just how many people are yearning for like an opportunity to be create a cohort and find community. And also like the thing, I keep saying exposure because I realized in the first year, we finished in August, that it's about exposing them. We have 10 fellows every year. It's about exposing them to like all the different jobs in the industry. And so we use the word storyteller because I wanted to feel like you can find a different way of storytelling throughout the program. So like
it's
fellows.
so exciting, Abbi.
It like truly is like a bright spot for me.
Yes.
And I realized like, okay, like success rate, and I'll tell you like success rate is like, we can find them like a job or like this, and like we'll bridge them into the thing. That's obviously like a tangible success rate.
Right.
But I realized at the end in August, January to August, I was like, we've succeeded. Wow. The confidence and the way in which they talk about themselves as storytellers from January to August is wild. It's like a wild change. And then like they go back to like whatever job they have and just like feel like, now I'm getting emotional, feel like someone believes in them. And I think that is like
Mommy Abbi.
What we
Mommy
need.
Mika.
Like that's what you need. If you're gonna try to do this, you kind of need to feel that yourself. But like in the beginning, you really need like the Amy who was like, I think you guys are fucking brilliant. Let's go. And so I'm not making each of their projects with them, but I'm their mentor as well for the 8 months, and they each have a mentor.
And representation matters. They got to see a person who they normally wouldn't connect themselves to, but you and Mika connected them to say, you are that person. Yes. You're as worth getting that door open as this, famous couple's daughter, for example.
And I'm going to tell you a very quick thing because you know her.
You don't have to rush.
One of one of our fellows came to the program, had not written anything. A lot of them have never, we got everyone final draft, like half of them didn't have final draft. And so they're like learning that in the program. And she came in, she initially wanted to be a playwright. She was like, I'm like really like excited to be a playwright. I'm interested in all these different plays. And I'm gonna do like my version. She worked at a women's shelter when she came into the program. And throughout the program, she realized her small goal was to get a job in the industry, just like as in a, like even if it was like a desk job and wasn't like a creative position. And we have this film club. So we have screenings, and then we have someone who was part of the film. So we showed Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I wanted them to be exposed to an editor. And so we had Paul Rogers, who won the fucking Oscar for that film. He's talking about how he initially thought he wanted to be a writer. And later in his career, he realized, like, I actually tell stories this way. And this fellow comes up to us after, and she's like, wait, I didn't know that this, like, I didn't know about, like, editing. She wants to be an editor. So another part of the program is setting our fellows up on a general. So we do a whole, like, workshop on, like, what a general is. We do a mock general that they watch. And then they've all been set up on generals. This fellow I set up with Jess Brunetto. Edited Broad City, edited League of Their Own, edits Hacks. I think she won an Emmy for Hacks.
Right.
Beautiful person. Like, incredible at what they do.
Oh,
and
my goodness.
She meets this fellow, tours her around the whole post facility. And then we find out that Jess found out there was an opening at this post facility. Our fellow works at the post facility now. And she's not an editor yet, but it's like she went from...
She's in the world.
She got
a door.
It was like...
You created
it was so
door.
Cool. And I'm like, I didn't even know exactly how that would happen. And now we have like this whole alumni, like it'll form, like the best thing that will happen is in like 5 years, someone from that one will come back and they'll be a mentor. And it's just like.
You as an artist, you know, this is how you move through the world. The Prelude's messaging, the phrase emerging artists like really feels like you. Your voice is constantly emerging. I think so much of Michelle Obama's becoming, that idea of like continually becoming, blossoming as like your whole life you're blossoming, you know, until the very end.
Hope so.
None of us are certain, but if we embrace that uncertainty, like the magic, the human magic that emerges from it, I mean, it's incredible. That is amazing. It's going to grow so quickly into a community. Abbi, you are so inspiring to me. I feel so invited to be my truest artistic self with you, because of you, and I hold you in my mind. You are so beautiful. I hope you know how beautiful you are from the inside out. Yes, I'm talking about the physical too, Abbi. You are so pretty and beautiful and brilliant, and you have incredible taste. You have such good taste. It's part of your honoring beauty and part of your role as an artist in the world. Thank you so much. I love you.
I love you too, and the feeling is completely mutual.
Love you.
Love you too.
I guess I say stuff like and subscribe and be a part of the community. Comment, tell us what you loved. Tell us gently what you didn't like. Thanks for joining us, and give it up for Abbi Jacobson.
Give it up for Ilana Glazer.